one and all, Ryan here from nextlevelpropertyinvesting.com. Hope you're well. How to super rent a property for maximum profit. So for me, I love the super rent strategy, and what I mean by that is either serviced accommodation or HMOs. So it's maximising the property and getting the absolute most profit you can out of that property. Obviously not all properties work, 2-bed terraces out in sort of pit villages around me are nowhere near hotels or cities. They're not going to super rent. You've just got to accept that they're single let properties. But there's a lot of properties that do work for super rent, and I would choose that all day long over a single let. And that's having the flexibility of having a business set up like mine, where you can jump from service accommodation, HMO or single let. It gives you real sort of strength to your service and your offering, and your flexibility to be able to push in the right direction. So HMOs, great, room by room. You're charging anywhere from $4 to $5.50, $6.50 in some areas per room. It means that you can rent a property from a landlord and you can still make really good money. And also, if you buy these type of properties and run them on these strategies, then you can make a lot of money. We've got sort of 2, 3, 4-bed terraced houses making 4 figures a month through serviced accommodation, and we've got 5, 6-bed HMOs again making well into 4 figures through run them as HMOs. So it works really well, and it's just a great strategy when it's done right. But there are a lot of pitfalls to it, and you've got to be very careful. I've seen a lot of serviced accommodation providers set themselves up and either create themselves another 9 till 5, or even worse, in 7 a.m. to a 12 midnight. If it's not done properly, you can get dragged into guest management, guest handling, and it can really become a horrible situation to be in. Also, done wrong, you can start to blow money if you're having to refund guests because you're not on top of your game, you're not organized, etc. And I've seen all that many times before. Similarly with HMOs, if you get the wrong property, or you don't buy right, or you've maybe chose the wrong area, or you just don't set them up properly, there's a lot of competition out there, and people want high standards, they want modern properties, and they want to stay in places where they feel that their landlord cares. I made the mistake once of taking a communal room out for a bedroom, and as therefore I didn't have a communal room. I had just had sort of a kitchen in there, and it backfired massively. We couldn't get it rented, and we kept showing people around, and everyone was just, yeah, it's nice, I've got a few more to look at, which is a sign that you ain't getting the rent. And it was no good. Luckily for me, because I'm involved in serviced accommodation, I switched it into a serviced accommodation. I split it into 2 flats, and we made it work as a serviced accommodation operation, which is great. Obviously, I'd hate to be stuck with a property that I couldn't do anything with, especially after you've kitted it all out with the fire alarms and gone to quite a bit of an expense of getting it refurbed and ready as a HMO. But we live and learn, and experience is one thing that you can't buy, but you can piggyback on other people's experience, and something I would recommend if you are just starting in the property game. Follow what people have done and try and avoid the mistakes they made. I learnt the hard way. I learnt by my own mistakes, but managed to solve the problems and kick on, and and continue to engage in these super rent strategies, because the higher cash flow definitely comes with a higher demand of time and problem solving at times, and reaction times, and being organized. So you've got to be able to put all that in, and I've seen it scare a lot of people off. A lot of people just aren't interested in it. They've maybe had 1 or 2 bad experiences that didn't work, and they've been put off. But the cash flow that you can generate versus a single let from the super rents is just far superior. And for me, I will always choose either a serviced accommodation or a HMO strategy over a single let if the property works, if it's in the right area and the numbers stack up. But at the same time, you don't want to become too leveraged the wrong way. I was thankful that I diversified my portfolio some time ago. Obviously, just going through COVID, if I just had serviced accommodation units, debatable whether there would still be a business right now. We obviously took a hit. We did better than I thought we were going to do, but we did still take a hit. And luckily we had HMOs and paying single let tenants to, you know, put profit back into the business, which is why I am an advocate of kind of covering all strategies. And anyone that's been on my coaching programs or seen any of my stuff, you'll gather that I do cover all strategies, and I think it's vitally important to stay diverse. So I don't really have a rule as such. It's not like I buy 2 of these, then 1 of them, and then rent 1 of them and run it on, you know, I don't have that. I just kind of have it in the back of my mind. I'm looking at numbers and seeing, okay, I've just bought, you know, 2 serviced accommodations and I took 2 rent to SAs on, so I need to kind of balance that out with a HMO and maybe 2 single lets, and then once I've done that I might go back and, you know, add a few more SAs. But I don't think you can't be as specific as that, because, you know, you just take any deal that comes at you at the time and then make it fit. But, you know, I do try and constantly balance the books. I try and obviously balance it between HMO and serviced accommodation as best I can, and then I try and throw in a few safe single lets in there as well. So always have that in the back of your mind when you're building your property business, and make sure that you do stay diverse, and you'll do well, you know, and you'll succeed from it. But always get stuck in these super rent strategies. You know, they're great strategies. They do very, very well for me. I know they do very well for a lot of other people. It's the quickest way to get you out of your 9 to 5 job. You know, if that's what you want, and if you want to become property full time, you've got to get onto super rents. And, you know, if you've got very little money or limited funds to get started, get involved with rent to SA, rent to rent. You know, great strategies done right. You can still make some good money, you know, out of other people's properties. So, you know, but if you don't know, you know, you don't know what you don't know. If you're not educated enough, you know, get yourself educated first. Don't invest anything until you're educated and get the know-how of how to execute these strategies properly, or it could be your last investment in property. So make sure you know what you're doing. You know, if you're liking the videos, please subscribe and drop the comments below. Ask any questions you want to ask me. I'll jump on and I'll answer them. I am on there myself, you know, and I'll get back to you. And if you want to take your game to the next level, head over to nextlevelpropertyinvesting.com/email series. Download a free email series there. I wrote an email every day for 6 months. It's everything to do with property, rent to rent, buy, refinance, serviced accommodation, lease options, you name it. Everything, motivation, absolutely everything. And if you're really, really serious about accelerating your property growth, there's no better way than to work with a mentor and you know, and learn from their mistakes and keep focused and create that accountability. And that's exactly what I can do for you. nextlevelpropertyinvesting.com. Schedule a call, we'll have a chat, and I'll show you and see if we're a good fit, and I'll show you exactly what the program is. Have an awesome day, everyone.